Hi, welcome to Postnatal Strength. You are going to need a set of weights. If you've got the option to have two, you need a heavier one for the lower body and some lighter ones for the upper body. Like all the workouts, if you need to scale up, feel free to do so. Similarly, if you need to scale down, your postnatal journey isn't linear, so it might be that you're working on less sleep than you normally do. So just see how your body is feeling today. I'm Caroline, this is Amy, and we're going to get going. So just come to the end of your mat. We're going to start with a nice inhale breath, opening up through the rib cage. As you exhale, you're going to roll down. Good, nice. Feeling the arms nice and heavy, the head nice and heavy. We inhale, we exhale, we roll back up. Good, lovely. We're going to do 3 more of these. So we're inhaling through the nose, expanding your rib cage and exhaling down. So still focusing in on that breath pattern, that expansion of the rib cage, making sure that our core is working with us, okay? As you inhale, expanding the rib cage. As you exhale, think about those abdominals wrapping round, those transverse abdominis. And then on the inhale breath, really expanding that rib cage. Good. On that next one, we're going to bring it into a full walk down. So you're going to come down into a plank position. Good. Remember, the option is always to drop to the knees if you want to. Otherwise, you keep it in that full plank if that feels good. And then walking all the way back up. We're going to be doing 4 more of these, okay? So coming all the way down into that nice half plank, full plank, whatever feels good. And then bringing it all the way back up. Make sure you're using the whole of your hand when you come into that plank position. Good. And then our final one, we're going to hold it there, okay? So the final one, you're going to hold it there. You're going to come into the world's greatest stretch. Let's take your foot to the hand and then start to rotate the arm up towards the ceiling. Good. Opening up through the chest, bringing it back down, and then opening back up. That's it. Good. We'll stay here for a few. That's it. And then just do 2 more. Good. And then this is your last one. Really nice, getting that rotation, stepping back and then changing sides. So we open up, we extend, nice, and then we rotate. Good. If you need to drop the back knee, that is an option. Otherwise, you're staying with that leg nice and long. Good, just give me 2 more. And then this is your last one. Sorry, there we are. And good, you're coming back into standing. So step the foot back. And this is our hinge dominant one. So we've got some deadlifts coming up. So we're going to just start off with a few good mornings. So fingertips to the forehead, pressing those heels away. And you're going to start to hinge back and then drive through the feet, come up to standing. Good, okay. So as you come down, thinking about the ribs and the hips stacking. And then ribs and hips stacking as we come back up, okay? So on the horizontal and then on the vertical. Good. Nice. Just going to do 2 more. Really pressing the floor away, keeping the elbows nice and wide. Good. And then that last one, you're just going to stay in that horizontal position. Good. You're going to reach the arms out in front of you, okay? And then we're just going to bring them back down. So we're going to do a few of these as if you're drawing an I shape. Good. And then back down. Good. Give me 3 more like that. Good. So really starting to wake up the back of the body. Good. Final 2. Really think about that length. And then this is your last one. We're going to come up and reset, okay? Lovely. So we're going to go again, but this time we're going to make a Y shape with our arms, okay? So we go down into that hinge position, softening through the knees and then making that Y shape. Good. And then bringing it back down. 3 more like this. So we come up, sliding the shoulder blades together, have that little moment at the top. Imagine somebody's taking a picture of you. You want to hold and then bring it back down. Good. Last one. And then we come up and reset. Nice. And then our final one is going to be a T. So we're going to be taking the arms out to the side, sliding those shoulder blades together. All right, let's go. So we take it out and then we go out and then back in. 3 more. Really nice. Good. Final 2. And then this will be your last one. And good. Coming up to standing. Feel warm? Good. Okay, cool. So we're going to come into a rotational deadlift. So we've done lots of hinging to prep for that. So we're going to be taking the weights, then we're going to be down to the side and then drive up, okay? So the idea is that as a parent, we're often picking stuff up, putting it over there. So it's a really functional move, but also it might get our heart rate up a little bit as well, okay? So we're going to come for some weights. There we go. Okay, cool. So Going for your heavier weights, if you've got the option, okay? We're gonna go for 10 reps of these, okay? So we're sliding down, coming to the side, and then driving back up. Good, and then alternating, and then drive up. Good, lovely. Good, so we're thinking about lengthening through those glutes and hamstrings. Drive back up, push through the feet. Nice, squeezing the weight, okay? Especially if you're holding it at the either side, really push into it. Good. Using that breath pattern as you come up to standing, just making sure that you are not overextending, okay? So you want to make sure that when you come up, you're standing nice and tall, but you're not leaning back, okay? That tends to be our kind of default position as a new mum, kind of leaning back to kind of counterbalance the weight. So you want to make sure the knees are nice and soft. You're almost in that athletic pose position, okay? Ready for anything. Good. And then just finishing off those last few reps. And rest. Great, okay, so we're gonna be changing our weights over and we're gonna be coming into an overhead kneeling press. So we're gonna start with the weights at your shoulder. You're taking your heels down to your bottom. You're gonna engage the glutes, up, press, and then back down, okay? Up, press, and then back down, okay? All right, so we're going for 10 reps of these. Both weights are at the shoulders. Good, we go down, we use the glutes to propel ourselves up and press, good. Nice. Now, as you take the weights overhead, just watch what's going on with your rib cage. If you find that the weights that you've chosen are maybe a little bit too much and you can't keep your ribs and your hips in line with each other, drop it down to one weight and hold it in the center, okay? It's much more beneficial that we keep that alignment rather than adding too much load, okay? Good, nice. And then final few reps, perfect, nice. I'll take those. We're just gonna come into some active recovery, okay? So your active recovery, you can either take it, have some water, don't do this exercise, or you can join us having that active recovery. So just gonna take your fingertips to your forehead, come into a lateral bend. We're just gonna do 4 on one side and then 4 on the other, good. So we're creating that space between the rib and the hip on the side. Knees are nice and soft, but like I said, this is active recovery. So if you need to, you can have a rest. Otherwise, you join in with us. Nice work, good. And then changing sides. So really think about the elbow leading that move, okay? So we're coming over, creating the space at the side, bringing it back, and then just 2 more of these. So we're gonna come into our second set of these rotational deadlifts. Perfect. Okay, so just finding that space on the mat. Think about pressing the heels away from each other. Remember, it's a hinge, not a knee dominant move. So I want the movement coming from the hips, okay? That's it, so off we go, down and then pull back up. Good, so think about down for 3, drive up for 1. I want to think about the length of the glutes and the hamstrings on the way down. Good. And using your breath as well, okay? So the last few reps of the set should be a little bit of a challenge, okay? So if you're thinking about, okay, what weights should I be using? The last few reps should be a challenge, okay? If you're getting to the end of the set and you're like, oh yeah, I could have done maybe like 4 or 5 more, you wanna maybe add some more load in, okay? Good. What tends to happen is we can round through the spine as well, especially if all you've been doing is this for like the last 3 or 4 months, okay? So really think about squeezing in, okay, so that you're activating those back muscles. Think about what we did in the warm-up that was really trying to activate the upper back, okay? Good, nice. Lovely. All right, so we're back down onto the knees and we're gonna come into those presses. You've got 10 reps, okay? Again, thinking about the ribs and the hips. So off you go when you're ready. Lovely. So as you come up, it's those glutes that are giving you a little bit of power, okay? So think about using the glutes to push up, lower back down. Push up, lower back down. Good. Coming into the last few reps of these, ribs stacked on top of your hips. Good, fab. All right, and then we're coming into your active recovery once more, okay? So you've got one more round of these, one more round. That's it, coming into that nice lateral flexion. So the reason we've got this in is because you do tend to be a bit tight in that postnatal period, okay? So we want your spine to be moving in lots of different ways. Lateral flexion is something that gets lost, okay? So down and then drive back up. And also should feel quite nice. Good. All right, we got our final round. There you go. Perfect. So just making sure that you're getting that connection into the floor, wrapping those shoulders down. Think about the ribs towards the hips. When you're ready, off we go. Okay, so we're working with 10 reps here. Good. Coming to the side and driving back up. Nice. Good. So normally on that third set, sometimes you can start to think like, oh yeah, no, I've definitely got the hang of it, and it can become a bit of a squat. Okay, so sometimes it kind of comes here. It's that real hinge. I want you to imagine that somebody's standing behind you, and you're trying to push them over with your bottom. Okay, so you go down, drive back up. As you come up to standing, make sure you're not overextending at the top. Good. The knees are staying soft, and you're not locking them out and kind of thrusting forward. Amy's doing a brilliant job. So good. And then coming into the last few reps here. Okay. Whew. Good. All right, last round of these overhead presses. So we're here. That's it. And weights are coming to the shoulder. Just take a moment, okay? And then when you're ready, off we go. Good. Really nice. So that third set, you should really start to be feeling that now, okay? Good. Lovely. All right, so last round of those lateral flexions. Okay, so that was our bilateral section, okay? So things on both sides. Now we're gonna do things on one side, okay? So it's gonna feel a little different now. Good. And once you've done 4 of those side bends on one side, it's 4 on the other, okay? So think about that elbow coming up, leading, side, and then back. Great. Perfect. All right, so we've done this movement without any load in some of the other classes, okay? So we're gonna come into a reverse lunge with a twist, but we're gonna add a little bit of load, okay? So weight is gonna be at the chest, we reverse, and then you rotate over the front leg, okay? That's gonna be your first exercise, and then I'll explain the second one as we get there, all right? So alternating the legs, which makes it a little bit more challenging for the brain, okay? So we're gonna come down into that lunge, and then rotate over your leg. Good. We're gonna go for 10, okay? So we go down, rotate, lovely. So think of it like 2 moves. You lunge and then rotate. You want those hips to track forward, okay? And like I said, we have done it in the other classes without any load, so it shouldn't be something that feels unfamiliar to you. If this is the first time that you've done it and you want to do it without the weights to begin with, then feel free, okay? Good, rotate. And don't be, kind of alarmed if one side feels stronger, one side feels weaker, that's normal, okay? Especially with the rotation when you're holding a baby on one side for hours, okay? You might find that you have very little rotation through one side to the other, okay? Good, last ones. And rest. Perfect. All right, so we're going to be coming down onto the mat. Now I'm going to give a few options of these. So we're going to come into some renegade rows. So option 1 is to be in a half plank position. Your knees are connected to the floor, okay? The base of the dumbbell is going to come up towards the hip as you slide it past. Good. Option 2 is challenging, okay? But if you feel like you're ready for it, you're going to take it into that full plank, and we lift the arm so the elbow glides past the body. We are going to be doing 16 in total, so 8 on each side, but we're alternating, okay? All right, so whichever feels comfortable yet challenging, okay? And we're gonna come up and then bring it back down. So you're trying to keep the hips as still as possible. We exhale up, we inhale down. Good. So what's quite common is to bring the weight quite close, and so that the shoulder comes up by the ear. So really think about sliding that elbow past, almost like your waistline. That's it. And the stiller the hips, the more your core is working, okay? So it's more of a core exercise in that way. If at any point you've decided to go on the toes and you want to drop down to that half plank position, then that is totally fine. Remember, we're still rebuilding our strength. Good, really nice. Perfect, okay, and we're just gonna come into a cat and cow for a little bit of active recovery, okay? Good, so just moving through that extension and flexion of the spine, thinking about the rib cage moving away from each other on that extension, and the rib cage moving towards each other on that flexion. And you can do as many or as little as you like of these. We're gonna go for maybe another 10 seconds, okay? Again, if this is a space that you just need to take a little walk, have a little bit of water, that's fine. Good. And then just finishing off that last one. And then just bringing it back. We've got one more round of these. So we've got our lunge rotations, we've got 10. So alternating, and you're always rotating over the front leg, okay? Now, if you find that that is a little bit too much for your brain to take, and that might be, okay, you've got a lot of things going on in that early postnatal period, just stick with doing one side, 10 on one side, and then 10 on the other, okay? But it's always over the leg that's in front of you. Good. And just think about what that front foot is doing. Really plant it onto the floor. Don't allow that back knee to join your twist, okay? Just keep it in line. That's it. Good. So coming into those last few reps. And nice work. Okay. Perfect, okay. We're coming into our renegade rows next. All right, so I'm gonna grab that second weight for you. Okay, so you know how the first round felt, okay? If it felt like it was too challenging, you take it down. If you feel like you can up it slightly, we're only doing one more of these, okay? So this is the last time we're doing it. So choose the one that feels challenging, okay? We're going 8 on each side, so 16 in total. That's it, good. So sliding that weight past the body line. Just making sure that our shoulders aren't up by our ears, so that that scoop of the weight is coming down past our waist. Good, lovely. And we're gonna come into a few cat and cows. You got it? Great. So again, this is just your active recovery. You're feeling how your body is feeling with those exercises, so just kind of do what feels good. Going to be here for another 10 to 15 seconds. And then we're going to be coming into our finisher, okay? So, very exciting. All right, so it's going to be 30 seconds on, 15 seconds rest. We've got 3 exercises. We're going to do them 3 times round, okay? So yes, it is in intervals, but it's not like you have to do loads and loads of reps. It is a strength-based one, okay? So our first one is gonna be a farmer's carry, okay? So you're gonna have one arm extended, the other arm is gonna be here. So you're gonna walk to the end of your mat, bring it back down, change sides, and then walk back, okay? So you wanna make sure that your ear is super close to your bicep and it's not kind of out here. You might want to go for slightly heavier weights after the first set, but just kind of choose wisely to begin with, and then you can always up it, okay? All right, so then we've got our second set of exercises. It's gonna be a renegade row get up. So we've done them before. We're here, up, we jump forward, we drive up, we come back down. You can also do that in that high plank position, okay? Drive up, feet are flat, come up to standing, okay? So 30 seconds on, 15 seconds rest, and we're going for 3 rounds of those. Feeling good? Yeah, okay, cool. So we're gonna go in 3, 2, 1. So walking forward, we change, and then we come up. Good. Nice. So you're aiming for around 5 to 10 steps forward, 5 to 10 steps back. Good. Carries are really important to have in your workout. We do a lot of carrying as parents, okay? So it's important that we get nice and strong in there. Try and keep the weight that is near the leg away from you slightly, okay? That will just challenge your core a little bit more. Good. And we've just got 5 more seconds here. Good. And 3, 2, 1. All right, so coming down. That's it. And up. And then we've got those rows when we go down to the floor, okay? So down into a renegade row. That's all right. Up, and then jump forward, and then stand up. Good. And then again, we go. And jump, and up. And remember, you can keep those rows on your knees if you need to, okay? So if you want to go into the renegade row on the knees, that's totally fine. You've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good, perfect. 15 seconds recovery, and then we're going back in, okay? So we've got 2 more rounds. That's it. So weight is gonna go overhead, really nice and close to the bicep. 3, 2, 1, off we go. That's it. So there's nothing fast about these moves, okay? So actually it's more difficult if you take it slower, okay? If you rush these carries, then it can kind of, momentum can take you, it can be a bit easier, okay? So just keep it nice and slow. You've got just over 15 seconds. That's it, up. Good, last 10 seconds coming up. So just finishing off that last one. Good. And 3, 2, and 1. All right, okay, we're coming down and we've got our rows, that's it. And then jumping back in, nice and flat on those feet, and then coming back. So an option again is you can always walk it back into the plank if you don't feel that jumping is for you, okay? But make sure that your feet are flat on the floor, okay, when you come into that standing position, okay? So we're coming forward and then drive up. Nice, good. And last 10 seconds here. Got 1 more round after these. Good. And 3, 2, and 1. Okay, 15 seconds recovery. We're going 1 more round. Okay. So the idea is that you get your heart rate up, but remember you've got the whole day of being a mom as well, okay, which is quite tiring. So we don't want to completely whack you out, but we want to get that heart rate up. We want to get those endorphins flowing. So we come up and off we go. That's it, good, reach. Good, so imagine that your ear is your mobile phone, your bicep's your mobile phone, and you want to keep it really close to your ear. Nice. Okay, last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, final 2, and 1. Okay, we go down, you're coming into your rows, let's do it. That's it, and up. Good. Sound effects are welcome at any point. That's it, good. Nice work. Okay, so coming into your last 15 seconds. So yes, it is an interval, but you can take it slower if you need to. If you're feeling confident, you can speed it up a little bit, okay? Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whew. All right, so pop those weights down for me. We're gonna come down to the floor. We're gonna come into a pigeon. So just bring yourself into a box position, and then just taking your right knee to your right wrist, your right ankle comes across to your left wrist, and then you find the stretch and start to lower yourself down. Good. So inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth, and just letting that central nervous system calm down. So as a new parent, it can be quite stressful, okay? So the quickest way to get kind of de-stressed is to breathe. Exercise is a stress on your body, but it is a good stress. So we want you to be exercising. We want you to feel good, but you will need to bring yourself down and just have that moment just to give yourself a little bit of time to kind of decompress. So just going to take 2 more breaths here, and then we're going to come on to the other side. Good. And then just when you're ready, after that last breath, you're just going to untuck yourself and bring yourself onto the other side. So the knee comes in, the ankle comes across. Again, you might need to kind of move a few things so you can get into that position. And just relaxing through the shoulders, relax the jaw. Remember, your jaw is connected to your pelvic floor, so we want to make sure that our jaw isn't holding lots of tension. That's it, good. Just breathing. Good. And then we're just going to bring ourselves into a puppy dog stretch, okay? So just bringing yourself onto the knees, staying in that box position, but then just walking the hands forward and getting the chest down towards the floor, okay? So that's where we're aiming for. It might be that we don't have as much range. You might even need to put your hands on an elevated surface just to get that stretch. But remember, everything that we do is a work in progress, okay? Good, and then just bring yourself back up. We're going to come into a child's pose. You're just going to bring the hips back, and then take your left hand over to the left side. Your right hand's going to go on top, and then you're just going to get that stretch down the right side of the body. So keep thinking about the energy coming through that right hip and that right hand. Good, and then just bring the right hand over to the right side. Left hand goes on top. Same thing that with that left hip, really sending the energy through there. Good, and then just coming back into the center. We're going to finish just with a roll up just to come up to standing. So tucking those toes, rolling all the way back up, restacking, and then just give yourself a little bit of a shake out. And we are done. So thank you so much for joining our strength class. We hope to see you in some of the other ones. And we've got a return to impact and another strength class in this series. So hopefully see you soon.